This is a family of YouTubers that I've never seen before, never heard of before. But apparently, all of the parents involved got arrested a couple days ago for aggravated child support. Child abuse, right? And I just have so many thoughts about this. Like, I compare my own parental experience. And, I think every parent has various arguments that they have with their kids about, you've got to go through discipline. Um, and maybe, when you're like, my son's an adult now, and he has some disagreements with me about, like, how he felt I handled certain situations, despite the fact that I was, a huge IEP advocate, and I volunteered in so many organizations. Um, and I was the IEP advocate for the neighborhood. Basically, all the other parents called me for advice. Um, So it's amazing to me that this family was making the parents, not the kids. They were making millions of dollars abusing their kids on screen. YouTube was totally down with this. Um, YouTube was totally down with this. I just want to show a little bit of this. I'm just going to show a little bit about this. But apparently, because I just watched another video that said that they got arrested um, on Wednesday.
With her, sort of like she's playing up her parenting for the camera.
He is in a lot of shame. Oh, there you are. I was just talking about you. Do you want to come sit with me and talk?
Now, Ruby makes everything content. All the typical adolescent stuff that probably...
Which, by the way, the first time and only time I ever did a live stream with my son was when he was in his late 20s. There's no way that I was going to be putting out public content to expose my kid like that.
It does not belong on the internet. Now, to Ruby, it's all fair game. Even when her children show surprise or discomfort that they're being filmed during a particularly vulnerable moment, even when they ask her to stop or to put the camera down, Ruby won't do it, okay? That just never met a record button she didn't like either, because, like, I hit the little button and it makes a little red flashy light, and that gives me views and money! And I just want the money! Allegedly. Sorry, my voice went up so high there. But Ruby just kind of laughs it off like it's all nothing. Her kids are like, literally, don't film me right now. And she's like, what were you saying? Can we get that? Do we want to get that in vertical or horizontal? Which platform should we put this on?
Can you not film it? So I just
You got rejected.
Of course there's no way they cannot not film it. If they did not film it, how are they supposed to make money and pay for your schooling, kid?
Now, the kids are asking for a moment of privacy to talk with their mother, and she just won't give it. She has to film their talk. Because it's her content. And, even punishments, it seems, can be profitable for YouTube if she films it in just the right way.
if you cut one more thing in my house, we're chopping its head off. I'm going to take the scissors. Look at me. And I'm going to cut its head off. God, I'm so mad.
Ruby. Come, bring it in, Ruby. Bring it in.
My son, when he was very young, I would buy him jackets, and he also had, like, this is a thing. I had it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was also fascinated with scissors, and I was like cutting all the hair off of all my dolls and stuff like that. When my son was little, he was cutting all the pockets off of his jackets. That is not the type of discipline that either of us faced. I mean, I don't recall getting disciplined at all for cutting off the hair off my dolls. I don't recall this happening. And maybe it's because perhaps my mom felt like, well, it's her doll if that's what she wants to do with it, right? But in the case of destroying clothing, I just, I gave him like a timeout or something, and I started taking the scissors away. There's no way that I would tell my child that I'm going to destroy his favorite toy because of some misbehavior. That is not how you raise a child. Like, there are going to be situations in which you have to discipline your child, but you don't threaten them. You don't try and, like, emotionally scar them. Oh my God, with this woman.
Go a little closer, Ruby. A little closer. Ruby, what the fuck? Seriously, I just what in the whole grain, gluten-free, sugar-free, Michael B. Jordan spread evenly on buttery biscuits. I'm sorry, Pete Davidson, but we're going Michael B. Jordan on this one. What the fuck, Ruby? I know that she thinks this whole eye for an eye thing is good parenting, but threatening to literally, I can't even say the word here, remove the head of your child's beloved toy by ways of significant violence? Nah, bitch. Bad, Ruby, no. Have several seats. Ruby, I have fresh, wet cement sitting in the back now. I'm gonna pave a bench. I'm gonna ask you to have a seat, and you're just gonna be permanently cemented down there for a while so you can think about what the doing. With peace and love, of course.
Right. Well, and also, I'd like to know, Ruby, what the size of the trust accounts are for your kids who you exploited to make this YouTube series. Who you exploited online, exposed their private moments, and you made, as you said, over $1 million. Earlier in the video, it was stated that. Okay, so you made all that money. How much did you allocate to the children that you were exploiting? How much did you put into trust accounts? And by the way, the general allegations, these are allegations, so I don't know if they're true, is like felony level child abuse, including starvation.
If I were to try to equate this to the way an adult might experience a similar type of terror, we will use the Petty University grad cap. Let's pretend this is a toy. Children hold their toys as their best friends and their playmates. They're hanging out with the thing that is always with them. It is their sense of comfort. Think about the toys that you grew up with, right? We all have a favorite, I don't know, a stuffed animal or a doll or whatever it is. My toy that I brought to show and tell was a plastic, vicious Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur. I remember I brought this into class for show and tell, and I got made fun of so much. Oh my gosh, that still sticks with me. I used to pop the heads off of all of my dolls and then stick them in the toilet and try to flush them down. I didn't like dolls, okay? I didn't like them. If you think about it, these toys are...
I had a treehouse set with a family, and when I was a toddler, and I think this is around the time that my parents were separating, I buried the entire family in a neighbor's front yard. We were never able to find them again. And when my mom asked me what happened to the family, I said, they died. They died. But also, my son and I both have a similar experience of having a favorite item. Mine was when I was a toddler, I had a favorite blanket. I had a nightmare at night that a big bad wolf came and stole my blankie. I never saw the blankie again. I don't know where it went. I have no idea what happened to it. I just woke up and it was gone, and I was heartbroken. The same thing happened to my son when he was about 6. I bought him this little, I think it was a white tiger that I got at the LA Zoo for him, and he used to sleep with it every night, and it just disappeared. And he was just as upset as me and couldn't figure out what the hell happened to the toy. We have no idea what happened to these 2 items.
Comfort to kids. And this is very similar to the way that you and I might feel as, adults, where we're caring for a pet, like my kitties, or, you may have a puppy or something. So what Ruby did here would be a similar equivalency to a child's brain. Like if you forget to take out the trash one more time, or if you don't turn off the lights in the bedroom when you're not in there one more time, I'm gonna cut the head off of your puppy. That's how a child's brain is going to interpret this. Then, of course, on top of...
Yeah, literally, that's not on the same level as saying, I'm going to cut your internet access if you don't do your chores. It's not on the same level. You're going to have to, deprogram for a while if you can't do your chores, right? Like, I'm gonna unplug the cable for you. I'm gonna change the password on you so that you no longer have internet access if you don't get your chores done. Not even close to the same thing as saying, I'm gonna destroy your belongings. Oh my God.
All of it, she films it for the world to see this trauma unfolding.
If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
Grandma will be so mad.
Like she is making a conscious decision to record it. She knew she was going to do it. Let me get my camera, let me hold the camera, and let me then make the motions and make the threat. And then let me edit it and let me put it online and leave it there. That is a whole lot of process going on in order to make that threat to a child. This is a parent actively, in my opinion, distressing their child and then filming it for profit. Ruby will film basically anything, including standing in line for fast food chicken.
Okay, this is us waiting in line to eat at Chick-fil-A because we're supporting marriage between man and woman. And here's the end.
Oh yeah, I guess it should be stated that the family is Mormon, and so therefore they have some very bigoted beliefs that they are forcing on their kids. Oh my God, even.
To the line.
That's right. Purchase chicken from a billion-dollar corporation who donates to anti-LGBTQIA+ organizations to support marriage between a man and a woman. Which is just so funny because marriage between a man and a woman is not threatened. You can still get, you a man and you a woman, guess what? Y'all can still get married and then do the ball and chain and up and 50% of y'all get divorced. You have that luxury to go through that if you so choose. You know what happened to the whole judge not lest you be judged thing? It's funny how it's just picking and choosing with some people when it honestly has nothing to do with affecting their own lives. But anyways, I'm going on tangents. Now, the clip goes on and Ruby is excited to say...
Well, also, I think that's an illustration of why she's so abusive to her children. Because obviously there's a weird power dynamic going on in this family. And, yeah, she does not have reasonable standards for how to treat the people around her. Especially children, which is apparently what got her in trouble this week, right? Well, it's all alleged at this point. It's all alleged.
Other people who don't have time to wait have just been going and giving money to them and just saying, here's some money, we support Chick-fil-A.
I'm sorry, but giving money to a like billion-dollar corporation. If you had so much hate in your heart that you wanted to donate money against marriage equality, why are you giving that money to a chicken man? Somebody make it make sense. And then you're not even getting any chicken, bitch. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm still at Petty University right now, okay? This is just foolish hatred to me, and I'm just not here for it. I'm just kind of like, you have the right. People have the right to have their opinions, but why not, instead of giving that money to a billion-dollar chicken man, what if you just give it to, like, your local church then? Someone experiencing homelessness, someone who could use it, who needs it.
And everyone is so happy. No one's upset. It's just kind of fun.
Oh, it's just kind of fun. Wow. Now, since we're talking about the early days of the channel, let's talk about Eve. Now, one of the enticing parts of this story is a video Ruby posted where she talks about Eve's kindergarten teacher having called her because Eve, child who was, 6 at the time, forgot her lunch at home and was hungry in class. Now, seems like an easy fix, just bring your daughter some lunch. But Ruby, well, she has a different approach. She'd rather record part of her vlog in her car, explaining how it's Eve's responsibility to make sure she has food and that she wasn't going to drive to take Eve's lunch to her.
Just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch, and it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry.
She's 6. She's 6. She's 6. If you were such a lazy ass mother, give her $1.25 so she can buy a school lunch. For fuck's sake. She's 6. Why are you trying to get her to prepare her own food at 6? I tell you, I packed some of the biggest ass lunches for my kid. Fresh fruit, sandwiches, celery sticks, string cheese, yogurt pretzels. I even did that for my canvassers. I know what it feels like to be starving when you're a child. When your parents don't make you a lunch and don't give you lunch money. Oh my God, what a crazy bitch. Holy shit.
Eve, who is her 6-year-old daughter in kindergarten. Ruby is holding her to a level of responsibility that most adults would never adhere to. Ruby is unwilling to go out of her way to provide food for her daughter and is bragging about it online. Again, mom of the year over here. And again, she frames it as good punishment.
And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome. My hope is that she'll be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day.
Whew, thank the Lord in heaven that Ruby is there to protect Eve from ideas like it's okay to help one another in a time of need.
Hopefully nobody gives her food.
Oh, I bet she doesn't do after school snacks either, right? No after school snacks like little cheese squares or some fruits and vegetables because you know what, kids have high metabolisms. You can't just you have to constantly feed them. What a disgusting person. What an absolutely disgusting person.
and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
I need to address the obvious here in that childhood hunger is a massive, pervasive problem, not just in this country, but globally. It's one of the biggest issues that we have on the planet, and humanitarian efforts have been fighting since the dawn of time to try to get on top of this. So if you're in a position where you have the privilege to be able to easily feed your child, you should feed your child. We also know that one of the telltale signs of child neglect is withholding food from the kid. I think it is disgusting to weaponize hunger against your 6-year-old child. Who is a 6-year-old child? Maybe give her positive reinforcement, like stickers. You know, my younger family members love stickers. So give her some stickers when she comes home from school because she remembered to pack her lunch. Good, positive.
Or how about actually being a mother and standing there with her in the kitchen and helping her prepare her lunch? You know, if that's the life skill you're trying to teach her in that moment, then stand there in the kitchen with her and teach her how to do it. And do it with her on repeated multiple days, months, years. Until she's at the age where it's so affixed in her mind that she knows to do it. Fuck's sake.
Reinforcement versus weaponizing hunger. I would imagine that might be a better way to go. Real quick, we have an incredible sponsor, HelloFresh, who I am so stoked. And treat yourself, honey. You deserve it. Okay, back to the doc. Now, things had been ramping up and the spotlight on Ruby's crap parenting was heating up, but the video that really kind of ended the 8 passengers was the now deleted video titled, What We Haven't Told You. Now, their eldest son, Chad, had been acting up, seemingly because his mom was filming him all the time.
Stay here for a second.
I had therapy and I got kicked out of my school. Woo! Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's asking if you still have your phone taken away for the summer.
Yep, I do.
Yes.
Sadly.
And
It's not her fault, it's mine.
when will you learn, Chad? Actions have consequences. A lot of you guys say, oh, you shouldn't get mad at them for bad grades. They try their hardest. You, on
I
the
did
other
not
hand,
try my hardest.
don't know that he
Cheated on a
tried
test.
his...
Ruby kept taking away electronics from their kids, and Chad talks about Ruby locking up all of their electronics for the entire summer.
I am not willing to manage the iPads for you. If your kids are not willing to manage their iPads or their phones or any electronic device, if they're not willing to manage it appropriately, it is the parent's job to make sure they're being managed. And so that would fall onto me. And I am not willing to take the time to manage all of the electronics. So for the entire...
Then you shouldn't have bought them for them in the first place. Like, why are you giving them all these expensive electronics if you feel that they are too immature to, you know? I feel like this is the same thing that's going on with these kids in my neighborhood today with their motorbikes. They don't have driver's licenses. They're causing chaos. Even the Orange County Sheriff told me that they're concerned about the junior high kids that are running around on their motorbikes because it's causing accidents in my community, right? If you don't think that your kids can responsibly manage electronics, then you don't give them the electronics, period. And if you want them to learn how to use those electronics, you do it in their presence. You sit there with them and teach them how to use these things, right? Because they ultimately will need to know how to use them. But an entire summer, that's a long ass time. Like, I think the longest I went was like 24 hours. God damn, dude.
Entire summer, there will be no iPads in the house. Okay.
That was already gonna happen.
No, I'm not done.
Okay, Okay, so I don't know what manage the iPads means, but you did just say it should be the parents' responsibility, and then you said you're not willing to do it. Make it make sense, okay?
Every day I would wake up around 5 a.m. and I would go and do my daily thinking in front of that safe full of all my electronics, like the Xbox and the iPads and all the iPods and the laptops and TV remotes. You even locked up the TV remotes because you locked them up for the entire summer.
So she punished the kids by taking away their electronics because she wasn't willing to do the thing that she said a parent should be responsible for. And she simply wasn't willing to be responsible for it, so she punishes them. Ruby is attempting to explain how none of her children get the things she's taken from them back until she sees their behavior improve consistently. And when Chad points out that those goalposts often change and move, Ruby challenges him, asking when she's ever given something back before a period of 6 months, and that's when he lets something slip.
And so we don't just turn around and give it back as soon as they start acting good.
Be consistent.
It has to be consistent over a minimum of 6 months, and that's showing up consistent in every aspect of their life.
That's a new rule.
That's a new rule.
Oh, I just
A minimum of 6 months.
have I ever given something back less than 6 months?
I found my phone
No.
every like day.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago.
Excuse me, did I hear that right? Your oldest son hasn't had a bedroom in your house with a bed for 7 months?
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago.
And he's been sleeping on a beanbag? Hello? Okay, the absolute lack of forethought into what this could potentially do to a developing brain and body is just dangerous. Who thinks Chad may have issues with security and privacy in the future? Show of hands. Oh, right, Stephanie, you think, yeah, Cassandra, yeah, I see your hand, Cassandra. Okay, yeah, Veronica, I see you with, okay, Veronica, we on the same page?
Chad showed that he was not able to manage himself sharing a bedroom with Russell.
So when we moved, the bigger room in the basement was automatically his, and I didn't have a room, but we put one on hold for me.
So a lot of you are like, hey, that's not fair because Chad got the lesser bedroom and Russell got the big.
No, it's called inhumane. It's called inhumane. You don't do that to your child.
bedroom. Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom. And Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom. But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room.
Now, on top of all of this and the fact that she's broadcasting this to the countless millions of people, beyond even the obvious implications of what this could do mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and how this is going to affect him for the rest of his life, because this probably will invoke that trauma response in him, whether she wants to acknowledge that or not, because that is what happens with young impressionable child brains. But we also need to think about just the basics of what this could be doing to his physical development. You know, as someone who is dealing with a lot of physical pain issues myself, a child not having a proper bed when you have the luxury and the privilege and the honor of having a bed to sleep on in this wealthy household that you are living in, not having something proper to sleep on can seriously screw up your physical development, whether you're still growing or whether you're a grown-ass adult, okay? It could cause all kinds of issues that no one even knows about in the body in the immediate instance of this. And another thing that could be a factor here is him looking at his family members who are all sleeping on their comfortable beds for their health and their benefit, while they're also making mistakes or doing things that are not, acting in the realm of perfection the way that Ruby seems to be demanding, or at least demanding publicly for these vlogs. dogs, but she could very easily be adding another layer of resentment in him when he's looking at, well, the rest of the family makes all kinds of mistakes and they get to sleep in bed at night. And it also could generate confusion. Again, he is still a child. His brain is not fully developed, and he's going to wonder why everyone else gets to make mistakes and still sleep okay at night. Ruby and Kevin say that Chad having a bedroom is a privilege, but not allowing him a bed, him sleeping on the floor or a beanbag, do you think he's getting enough sleep? Do you think this could be psychologically damaging to him? Is this neglect? According to the British Medical Journal, or the BMJ, one of the most respected and dependable medicine journals in the world, neglect is defined here as the neglectful failure to supply the needs of the child, including emotional needs. It does not include the deliberate and malicious withholding of needs, which is a form of abuse. In fact, over 17,000 people thought so enough to sign a petition on change.org that Ruby is abusing her children, and Child Protective Services needs to get involved. And they did. Now, they did close the case after interviewing all of the Frankie children, so I guess legally 8 passengers was just enough above board to not have criminal charges filed against them or something to happen. But the court of public opinion was much more harsh.
At Ralph's.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. All of the adults in this situation just got arrested on Wednesday. So let's go to that footage. Okay, so here's a Fox 13 News Utah video on what happened on Wednesday.
We are learning more about the Utah YouTube star and her business partner, who were both arrested Wednesday after reports of severe child abuse.
Fox 13 News reporter Lucy Nelson spoke with people who used to watch Ruby Frankie's YouTube channel called 8 Passengers.
Emaciated, deep lacerations from being tied up with rope, duct tape around hands and wrists. This is the state 2 of Ruby Frankie's children were found in by police after her son escaped through the window of a home and ran to a neighbor for help. That home belonging to Frankie's business partner, Jody Hildebrandt.
This is to a level that I don't think anyone understood. And it's shocking. But it's not surprising. I don't know if that makes sense.
Independent journalist and YouTuber Katie Paulson tracks child abuse cases. She says Frankie's YouTube channel 8 Passengers caught her attention.
And she was saying how she would send her daughter to school with no food. And it was almost like she was bragging about it.
She recalls another time when Frankie's son openly talked about his punishment on the channel.
He was talking about how he had been sleeping on the floor on a beanbag chair and how his mom had taken away his bed and taken away his door, and how he had been sent away to this wilderness camp.
She wasn't the only one who noticed concerning interactions in the videos. Diane Nevins remembers being horrified at what she was watching on YouTube.
It was kind of like every video, there was something to be shocked about. Her son couldn't walk until he was 2.5 years old, and she never got him any help. And she admitted that she had at one point he'd fallen off the couch or she dropped him. Oh, he had gotten no physical therapy, anything.
Nevins says when she commented her concerns, she was blocked by Frankie. Paulson also saying when she did a report on what Frankie and her kids were saying in the videos, she was threatened to be sued. She forwarded me an email from Frankie's lawyer sent in 2020 that says, in part, we represent the family vlog channel 8 Passengers, who continue to be harmed by defamatory videos uploaded to YouTube by your client, and saying it resulted in a baseless visit by Child Protective Services.
They always say, if you see something, say something. And in this case, when people said something, they were threatened. I mean, so many other people besides me received letters from those attorneys. And
8 Passengers was taken down earlier this year, and that's when Frankie partnered with Jody Hildebrandt, a licensed therapist, in a channel called Connections, where they gave parenting and life advice. Here they are pictured in Hildebrandt's home, the same place Frankie's son escaped from, and where her daughter was found being held captive in the basement.
It's heartbreaking. And I think it's heartbreaking for the community that watched this family, knew that something was wrong.
In Salt Lake City, Lucy Nelson, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Wow. This is people who just were exploiting children. It's really sad.